Okay, I think we can start now. Good morning to everybody who is joining from Europe, and good afternoon to the ones who are joining from this part of the world. And we are on the second session of our webinar series on video filming for science communication. And we thought that we could start with a 10 minutes maybe, depending on your interest. Q&A. You could ask the questions related with the previous webinar that I shared the slides with you. And please, if you have the question, please write it to the chat box, Q&A, not the chat box, sorry, to Q&A, and then I can forward it to Olcay. Yeah? So maybe now you could write it. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. If there is no question, then we can proceed with this week. Okay. Okay. So I welcome you all as well as Olcay to this webinar. So far, I don't see any question coming. But let's wait a little bit. And next week also, we will have more question time. If you do not have the question right away now, maybe next week you can also ask your question. But let's wait one more minute for the questions. Oh, okay, great. There's one question. Celia Laskia. In Europe, it's quite difficult to meet up. Is it okay if we do the interview through Zoom and record it because of quarantine? Yeah, as a homework, for the homework.
Yeah, I think it's for this case, it's enough to have some images and videos with you to exercise the editing. Yes, you can do that. Okay. This is the new normal. Everything is on Zoom and online, so we have to get used to that.
Okay. So just to remind you all that last week we worked on it through webinar that Olcay explained to us what are the major tricks to have a good video filming for broadcasting our science or disseminating our science. And then we had a homework to have a small video that could have included both interviews and some scene from your experiment or from whatever the interest that you want to have for the video filming, okay? So that question was, because we planned for that homework to work in groups, but now currently face-to-face and working in groups, it may not be possible. So the videos can be also, it's best to do it in groups. If you can't because of COVID, you could do it somehow individually, yeah? And now today program is, you have this syllabus already for these 3 webinar series. And today is on editing. So we did the filming and learned about it and we practice it. Now we will learn editing. And for that, we all downloaded, I presume, DaVinci Resolve. And now we will go through the examples with Olcay. Olcay, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much. Today, we're going to talk about editing. Let me first share my screen first. Yes. Video filming for science communication. This is session 2, and this is the outline of today. I hope you can find some time to shoot some videos and take some sounds, but if not, it's not a problem. I know the conditions, it's difficult, but I will today again tell according to ideal conditions, because we hope that this pandemics will end someday, and you have to learn this according to ideal conditions. So I will continue as if you have some materials with you. If you have downloaded the DaVinci Resolve software, it will be good to exercise with me, but sometimes you may miss something if you try to do the same thing with me. You can just follow what I say today, and you will have the video with you tomorrow, for example, and you can again open your DaVinci Resolve project and then watch this video again at home in a larger time and do some exercise. As in video filming, practice makes better in editing too. Today we will start with very basics of this editing. How to open a project in DaVinci Resolve software, and how to import our shootings, our videos and sounds, our materials into the project, and how to optimize our videos for editing. Maybe this term sounds not familiar for you, but I will tell you in the end. Then I'll continue with synchronizing. Actually, you are going to need synchronizing if you take the sound and the video recording separately, because I suggest you in the previous sessions, I suggested you taking the sound separately with a good microphone. This is really important. This what makes your video increases the quality of your video. So I assume that you have a separate video and audio files, and we start with synchronizing these two files. Then the next thing in a regular ideal editing, to watch cut and note session. You will watch your shootings, videos, and cut the unnecessary parts or the necessary parts for you, and store them and take notes at the same time, because you have to revise your outline at the end, because I know before taking the video, you have to prepare an outline and a storyline, but I never see a perfect plan in the field. In the field, the things really different. You cannot follow your plans, and there is always something missing in the shooting. So you have to revise your storyline, the outline. The third stage of this editing is that. Then I will briefly demonstrate you how to edit a speech and how to edit with music, and I will show you the basic editing functions. And at the end, I'll finish with showing how to export the video to watch. I prepared some videos for you because this kind of video editing softwares don't work reliably most of the time if your computer is old, for example, or I don't know, it's most of the time the case. So I didn't want to risk this session, and I prepared and I cut and edited my voice. Also, I removed the filler sounds that make my talk boring. I think that it's better. Maybe we don't lose time, by the way. Then let's start with the first video, opening a project, importing and optimizing our videos. Let's watch it.
Yes, when you first open the DaVinci Resolve 16 software, you'll probably see this screen. It requires you to open a project here. Either you can open a previous project that you have been working on, or you can open a total new project. Yes, just from here, new project button, we have to name our project. For example, I can say project create. Yes, it opened an empty project. Maybe at first this all interface may look very confusing for you. Don't worry about that. We won't be using all these properties, all these buttons, but we will make our editing in a very simple way. In the beginning, we will be using only a few of these buttons, but then if you want to develop your editing skills, you can learn how to use all these buttons, because each may help to do very different things in editing. But let's keep it simple today. Here you see a media pool, media storage region, and there's a screen here, there's a frame that helps you watch what you edited, and here's your editing field. So let's start with importing some materials here, images that we had taken before. So go to File, Import File, and Import Media. Go to your directory. Let's first, for demonstration, let's take a few of them first and click Open. This is our storage area, and we can watch them here. For example, if you double click here, you see this frame is opened. We can watch our video here. For example, like you can open the sound for this exercise. We don't need the sound. How you can edit this video then? Here you see in our timeline many different tabs. You can do different things in these tabs actually, but we will be using this editing tab at first. We can now drag our video to this timeline directly and just drag and drop this. There are two lines here. One of them is the video, and this is the sound. As you see, there are waveforms, sound waveforms. We can watch our video also here. For example, by clicking space, we can start, and we can also stop by clicking space. Here you see a button that just makes this frame double, and you can watch your movie, your edited movie here. And you can watch your materials here. For example, I double click this video and you see I can watch this video here. Let's check our timeline properties. Here you see timeline settings. Resolution is full HD resolution. Actually, our videos are 4K, but I want my video at the end to be HD resolution, because I think that for internet audience, high definition video is just enough. So I don't want to force my computer with 4K videos. Normally, you see, if I try to play this video, my video is freezing sometimes because my computer have difficulties in playing these videos. So here what can I do in DaVinci Resolve program is select these videos and go to project settings, and here you see optimize media and render cache. This function helps you to create proxy videos that have low resolution than your original videos. Here you can choose, for example, half resolution. Then it will be easier to process our videos, play our videos. But then at the end of our editing, we can change this to its original form and then export our video. Then click Save. Then now we can again select our videos and click Generate Optimized Media. There's a window open, generating optimized media. It may take a little bit. You have to wait. For example, this 3 videos takes 10 minutes. Yes, now the optimization ended, and you see I again tried to play this, and you see it's more smooth than before. You see there is no freeze in the video play. Okay, you see. Yes.
Yes, this was the first video. This is just, you are getting ready for the editing in this first part. I think there is a question. When I tried to import a video, the program stated that my video frame rate did not match my project. What does that mean? You can just accept this warning. You can say that, yes, change the appropriate frame rate of the project. Because by default, a project may have a frame rate that are not convenient to your videos, then the DaVinci Resolve software automatically conforms that video to the project settings to your videos. So don't worry about that, just say okay. Because there are different frame rates, you know, 25p, 30p, so a default project setting can be 30 frames per second and yours is 25, then Resolve makes this automatically, so don't worry about that. I hope this is an answer for you. Yes, now we are ready to start editing, I think, after learning this. By the way, don't worry about the this confusing looking interface. If you never edited before, I know that this interface may be really frightening, but you don't need to learn everything in this. You don't need to learn how to use every button in this software. Just I will show you some basic parts of this software, and you can do whatever you want actually. But if you want to, of course, develop your editing skills, there are really lots of options, buttons, and you can find many tutorials on the internet, by the way. I cannot show you in 1 hour time all the functions that can be used. Today, just I want to show you how a person can do with editing software. What does editing mean? What's possible with these editing tools? But I suggest you following the tutorials, or just if you wonder how to make something, you can Google it, and there are lots of free tutorials about it. I really use that tutorials. Actually, I am normally using Final Cut Pro and Premiere Pro. These are different softwares professionally used. This DaVinci Resolve is a professional one also. Normally I use Final Cut and Premiere Pro, but for this webinar series I had to learn this Resolve also, and I used that tutorials. But if I know the logic of an editing program, then it is easier to use and learn another editing program. So if you learn this, for example, DaVinci Resolve or any other program, it takes only 2 or 3 days to get used to another. software. So don't worry. We can start with Resolve. This is a free program. We can start with this, but if you just don't want to get lost in this interface, I can suggest you some simpler softwares at the end. Don't worry about that. There are some simpler programs that you can do most of the things that you do in this editing. Let's continue with another video. Yes, the second thing we want to do is the synchronizing our videos and the sound. Let's see how we do that.
We have imported our videos and sound files, and we managed our project settings. Then we are ready for watching and cutting session. In this session, we're gonna watch our videos and decide what to take from that videos and cut or remove the unwanted parts. Let's start with the interview. As you remember in the previous session, in the filming session, I suggested you in the interviews taking equal numbers of files, video and sound. For example, if you have 5 video files, then you have to have 5 sound files. It means that the camera operator and the sound operator should start and stop recording at the same time and create same number of files. This is really important. So we have 5 video files here and 5 sound files here. So there's no problem. It makes our job very easy. What we're going to do is maybe it's better to list these videos and sound, and you can see the details of the videos and sound files. Here you see the 17 duration is 3:43, and the first sound recording is 3:45. Yes, this is very close. It means there is 2 seconds of mismatch between their recording time. This is not important. Our software can handle it. So choose this sound file and control and choose the other one. Right click and go auto sync audio. Here you see it asks how should I do that based on time code, based on waveform, and we choose this append tracks. We need this tracks also. So here you see the process ended, but nothing changed here in the list. But now this video file is synchronized in real. Let's see what happened. Yes, we drag and drop our video now, and you see it has 2 channels, 2 sound channels now. Now this is the sound from the camera microphone. This is what we don't want to use because it has a lot of background noise in it. But instead we want to use the second one. So let's mute this channel or delete this channel if you don't want to use it. I can delete this now with backspace and move it to the first audio line. Then you can now.
Okay, we are on AQUACOSM system, and this is our 2nd year experiment on the AQUACOSM project.
Yes, we synchronize our video here.
Yes, synchronization is briefly is like that. You have any questions about synchronization? I know most of you don't have any microphones yet because it's just 1 week before, and I know you don't have time to buy a microphone or something. But in the future, if you want to make some better videos, I suggest you buying a lavalier microphone. And you can find some easy you can find some cheaper versions of them. But you can just invest on this cheap microphone, and then you'll have a better quality video. The sound is really important. The sound is really important. Okay, if we don't have any question about this session, we can go on. We synchronized our interview. Then in the third section, we will watch what is said in the interviews, the speech. We'll listen to the speech, and we will cut the necessary parts and then note what is in the interview. Because if the interview is long, very long, and if you watch, for example, all the interviews and videos in a 1 hour time, and at the end of this process, you will forget what you have watched up to that point. So I suggest you taking notes about what you have listened with keywords, and it will help you reorganize your outline at the end. Yes, this is our third video. After synchronizing our videos and the sounds, the next thing we will do is to watch, cut, and note what is there in the videos. To do this, we can use two parts of this workspace. The first method is to use the timeline to cut the videos. Yes, let's watch our video.
Okay.
Here you see, before the interview starts, there are some conversations between the interviewer and the speaker. So I don't need this part. So I watch it, and
Okay.
the interview actually starts here.
We are on.
You see from the, you can also follow it from the waveforms. You see the waveform starts from here. We can cut this part out from our video. How can we do that? There's a toolbox here. As a default, your cursor is an arrow. This arrow is a selection tool. You can handle your video, just move right, left. In order to cut your video, you have to choose the blade tool. Here you see, click the blade tool. When you move your cursor onto your video, cursor turns out to be a blade. Just go to the place that you want to cut the video. It is here in this case. Go over that line and click. Yes, you have successfully cut this part. Then, if you want to handle this part, you have to again choose the selection tool. Click on this part and click backspace. I have to add another option to cut videos. Without using the blade, you can also change the video length with this tool. When you move your cursor to the edge of the video, you see this icon. This icon means that you can change the length of video if you click this. I click now. You see, I can just remove this part out of my video. And if I change my mind and I want to add this again, I can again click it to that and move back to that position or what position I want. This is an alternative to cutting. It's your choice which one you find easier. Alternatively, you can use this media pool and this frame to cut the videos. How? For example, clip 19. Let's double click it and select it and watch. Here you see there is some arrangements of the frame, so I don't want this. I can start from here, so I choose this point as a starting point and I go here, mark in. This is an in point, and now I will choose an out point. For example,
As you all know, the global precipitation amount increased hugely within the last couple of decades.
I want this piece. For example, I decided to use it somewhere else in my video, so I go here and put an out point. Now this piece of video is ready for me to
use, I can either drag and drop it to the timeline, or I can go here and right click, create a subclip, for example, and I can then rename this part precipitation. Yes, I also suggest taking notes about what you listened, because if it's a long interview, at the end, you won't remember exactly what you have listened up to that point. So it's good to take notes, because it will help you to revise your storyline, the outline. For example, while watching this clip 19,
global precipitation amount increased hugely within the last couple of decades, and we have receiving more rain in Turkey as well. According to the Turkish Meteorological Office, we have received the most rain in last year within the last 30 years period.
For example, I watch this part and go to my editing notes and write
Yes, this is the end of the video. Yes, do you have questions about this part?
Olcay,
Yes.
can I ask a question about the previous part? I was going to ask, but I wasn't sort of on time. If we have the two videos, the video and the sound recording, if there is a mismatch, how do you do that? It's just by cutting and watching them together and then cutting the relevant parts to make them match each other. Is that the way how you do it, or is there
You mean that your sound file is, for example, longer than your video file?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. If it is the case, most of the time, I don't know if Resolve can manage it, but the Final Cut Pro, for example, if it doesn't match the duration of the video file and the sound file, it can handle it. From the waveforms, it can just catch which points exactly from the waveform type. But if it is not the case, if the software cannot manage it, you can, for example, you can also do what the software do. This is a little bit difficult, but if you have some reference noise, for example, you may have heard about that, or in the Hollywood movies or fiction movie stage, backstage, you see there are some clips, clippers, or I don't know the name in English, but they're making some certain noise. Mm-hmm. For example, you can clap your hands before start recording. Then if you clap that hand, you will have this kind of a, here you see, in the second channel, this kind of a, I don't know, a waveform. So if I see a similar waveform here, and I can just move these two parts separately, and I will try to just zoom in maybe too much, zoom a lot, and just want to match this manually. But most of the time, the software can handle it.
Okay, it's like you say that the sound and the movement of the mouth, you know, because match each other perfectly, because otherwise it will be so funny, you know.
Yes.
We all read the lips when we are listening to other, if there is a, like, a, you know, off sync, then we can notice it. Okay.
You can try, just it takes the time, but ideally, I say ideally you have to take the same number of video and audio files. It is easier. Then you can get ready for your editing in 5 minutes. Otherwise, you will spend your 1 hour for synchronizing your videos. Okay. As I said in the video, there's a toolbox here. I don't mention these other ones in order not to confuse you too much, but there are some basics. This is a selection tool, and you can go and click these tools in order to use it. But I suggest you using some shortcuts, the keyboard shortcuts. For example, when you go over this blade icon, you see blade edit mode, and you see it's written there B. Yes, with B, clicking B, for example, I am in the selection mode, and if I click B, you see I now click the B, and it turns out to be a blade. And if I want to go back to selection tool, I click A, and now it's a selection tool. So it's just you make it faster. You have to get used to using this shortcut instead of going and clicking these icons. I think it makes you faster in editing. Any questions up to now? You can ask your questions at the end if you want also. Let's go on then with speech editing. Yes, this is important because normally we don't notice that people are using filler sounds and repeating some words, but in the video, most of the time it makes our video boring. In a daily life, maybe you can get used to it, but in video, this is the thing we don't want. And you have to edit your speech in detail. So how can we do that and see how it makes a difference?
In this session, we're gonna edit our interviews in detail, and we'll see how it makes difference at the end. Here I choose a part from our speaker's speech. Let's listen it.
And in here, what we want to test is that through the flooding events, how much organic matter is coming from the catchment and changing the ecosystem structure and the functions through affecting the microbial and planktonic communities.
Actually, this interview part seems okay, but when you look in detail, when you look more carefully, there are some parts that can be developed. For example, there are a few filler sounds and some repeated words. And if we can remove them from this speech, it will be smoother. Let's see. I suggest you using this zoom function in order to be able to see in detail what the waveform shows us. So zoom in from here. You see the dialogue starts from here, so we can go and cut here.
And in here, what we want to
we don't want end actually.
And in here, what we want to test is that.
Yes, here you see.
What we want to test is that through the.
You see, there's a filler sound, and there's a space here. If we remove it from our speech,
is that through the flooding events. Test is that through the flooding.
You may think that there is a jump in between the images,
that through the flood,
like here, and you may think that this could look like a mistake. And at this point, our B-roll shootings, as you remember in the previous session, our B-roll shootings will help us to hide this jump point.
Through the flooding events, how much organic matter is coming.
You see, after how much? This part.
How much organic matter is coming from the catchment and changing the from the catchment and changing
this. I think this part.
Catchment and changing the ecosystem structure and the functions through affecting the microbial and planktonic communities.
Yes, now I think it's better. Now it's time to hide these jumps, for example. Just think about what she's speaking about.
That through the flooding events, how much organic matter is...
For example, I have these two clips from the field. I can add over this speech to hide the
in here what
jumping
we want to test
points.
Is that,
for example, I can put it here. Maybe you can see better. Just to hide this point, like this.
Test is that through the flooding events, how much organic matter is coming from the catchment and changing the ecosystem structure and the functions through affecting the microbial and planktonic communities.
Let's watch them together to understand how.
And in here what we want to test is that through the flooding events, how much organic matter is coming from the catchment and changing the ecosystem structure and the functions. In here what we want to test is that through the flooding events, how much organic matter is coming from the catchment and changing the ecosystem structure and the functions through affecting the microbial and planktonic communities.
Yes. This is the end of the video. Are there any questions?
There is one question, Olcay.
I cannot open it.
Does any option to remove vibration and rearrange the position of the frame?
Yes. I will tell it in the next session, in the next video, actually, the reframing your images. Mm-hmm. And there is also a way for stabilizing your image, but it can handle it up to some point. I don't know what kind of an vibration you have. If it's not too much, software most of the time can handle it. But there's a stabilizer function I can show you. But it is better if you have stable videos. Don't most of the time in the industry also people say that in the field, for example, you are shooting and you have some difficult times, then you think that, yes, in the editing I can manage it. But most of the time when you go editing, you cannot fix it. So I suggest you taking good videos in the field, actually. You can do this with using tripods, stabilizers. I think it's better because these softwares fixing unstable videos is not so reliable. But yes, it's somehow good, I can say. If you have really, if you don't have really bad problems with vibration, it can handle somehow. Any questions?
There is no new question, Olcay.
Okay, then we can go on with our fifth video. This is a longer one. This includes editing with music and the functions, using some functions of this editing software. Let's watch it.
Yes, now it's time to design an opening scene for our video. There are not any rules for doing that. We have to just force our creativity. I can here just show you one of the many options. While I'm doing this, I will show you what can you do with editing tools, basically. And I will show you how can you edit with music also. I decided to start with music and using my B-roll images. You can start with a speech apart from interview or any other images. Let's start with scanning our B-roll shootings. People are carrying the bags to the boat. Just now I decided that this people giving the bags hand in hand can be a good starting point. I don't know. We will try. Maybe it's not a good idea. For example, this can be taken from here. I think this is enough. I put it here. Here another. Yes. I don't know, I arbitrarily collected something. Let's see what can we do with this. I already downloaded some free music. Actually, this is the music that I have used for one of my previous videos. I can use it here. Yes, now we have cut some relevant pieces of videos and now try to get them together in an aesthetic way. Here we see how can we make editing with respect to music. I want to start with this 3-person walking. Actually, we don't want to use these sounds. We can clean it and move this to the first main audio line. I want to start with this image. So let's see how this look like. You see the image and the sound does not start at the same time, so zoom in to this point and see where the music starts. Here you see the music starts not here, actually here. So I move it to exact point. So let's see again. How can I choose where to stop the first video and start the other one, next one? So music will guide us at this point. Let's listen to the music and try to find some guide points for us to cut our video. You can just feel it. If you are interested in making music, maybe you're playing an instrument, it will be more easier for you to find out where are the cut points of this music or where are the elements of this rhythm. Let's listen and try. Can you find some periodic points to guide us cut our video? You guys see some pattern here. Let's listen again. and try to understand. Dun, 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 dun. And a second part starts here, I think. The guitarist is playing a certain note in this part and change the note exactly this point. So if I choose this point as a transition point, I think it fits with the music under. Let's see. Yes, it looks good. A third note is played at this point. So if I put my third image here, for example, this one here, and a fourth one, let's see what happens. At this point, the other one should start, I think, like that. Let's see. Yes. Yes, I think this is okay. Maybe it's consistent with the music, but I still feel that our cutting period, cutting frequency does not fit with the music very well. I think the music has more energy than our editing. So maybe we can cut more. For example, we can cut this earlier. This is our first video. I think people need to understand where they are, so maybe the first image can stay longer. I won't cut it. But the second one, we don't need to see more. I think this action is enough for us to understand this is someone is giving something to another. You see? So we can add the other and cut shorter. Let's see what happened. Again, we have to follow some patterns in the music. So this is more dynamic. We can go on. Yes, I have re-edited my video according to our new cutting frequency. Let's see what happened. Yes, I think it's better now. It's more dynamic. But I noticed that there's a problem here, because these two videos are very similar to each other. I can either find some other frame here, but I think it's an opportunity to show you how we can reframe an image. Here, I don't like the framing. These two clips are very similar, so I want to change the frame of this clip now. First thing you have to do is to select the image, the clip that you want to change. I select it and then go here. You see transform. When I click the transform, you see there are some points appeared around the frame. This frame can be changed from these points. Just click one of these points and just reframed, maybe more, because I have enough resolution. I think I have the 4K videos. Let's see what happened. I think it's better. Yes, reframing is so easy. One more thing I have to add this video is some real sounds. I always do that in my editings. Real sounds adds a good feeling to your video. Here I can add, I think, a motor sound here, real sound, and I think it will boost our videos energy. Here I have already downloaded some motor start effect from the internet. Let's see what happens. I think there's one more thing that's important to show you, is to change the speed of the clips. How can you do that? For example, there is this video and I want this video be faster, for example, faster up to this point, but in its original speed after this point. So there are many ways to do that, but you can do this like retime controls. For example, just click it and see there are some signs here. So you see there's a percentage here, 100%. This means that your clip is at its original speed. Then you can add a speed point to the point that your cursor is standing, and you can now change the speed of your video. For example, 400. Up to this point, the clip speed, the video speed is 400%. It says 4 times faster than the original one, and this is same speed. Let's see what happened. Yes, it's so easy. I want to mention one more thing that could be very useful for you. You can divide the screen into 2 or 3, whatever you want. How can you do that? Just come here and, for example, you want to use, after this part, separated screen. So come here and cut from here. Just as you reframe, go here and you can now, for example, crop your video also, like this. And put another video here. This close-up may be good. Let's put it. Just put this video onto that video. If we again crop this video from here, then we can use with the other and move it here. It's up to you. Redesign your frame. Let's see what happened.
Yes, this is the end of this part. There are many other things that you can use in editing, but it's difficult to add everything into one section. But I can maybe show a little bit more. For example, you can add some transition effects to your videos. I don't know where to use, but let's put it here to our edited video. For example, from this video to this video, I didn't want this transition, and I want to make a different transition effect. You here see there's a media pool and there's effects library. Click it and this region turns out to be our effects library. You here see video transitions, audio transitions, titles, generators, effects, audio effects. There are lots of options. So what we are gonna use is video transitions, and there are plenty of options from dissolve effects to iris effects, motion, push slide, and wiping effects. it's just up to you. You can use any of them, and you have to try and see which one is suitable, or which one fits with your video well. For example, we can use this push effect. What you have to do is just drag and drop this effect in between the two videos that you want to make a transition. Just let's see what happens. So if you want to change some properties of this transition, or if you want to make any arrangements on your clips, just click onto it and go here, inspector. Now there's a new window appeared, and this is a window that can make different things on your videos. For example, you can zoom your videos, you can change the position of the video. Actually, this is the just this transform function shown with numbers. Maybe you can use these numbers instead of making this rearrangements or reframing with your hand manually. And these numbers are useful when you want to copy the framing scales to another video. So using transition effects is very easy, and if you just click at this transition, you see that there are different options also. You can push left to right, right to left, up to down, and you can change these options. So there are plenty of options. It's just up to you. You have to practice on it. I think it's very fun. I enjoy it while I try this transition effects and trying something different on my videos. Maybe you also start to enjoy this, and then everything becomes easier for you. You can find time to make videos. And I have to add something important. Also, the titles. You can add titles from here, again from effects library. You see here titles, and there are lots of title options. And I only want to show you the basic one, the text. Just drag and drop it onto your video. For example, you want to write something on it. Click on it, and you see there's the inspector window is opened, and write what you want here. And for example, it is Aydemir Lake and Times New Roman. I don't suggest using this, or there are lots of different fonts here, and you can use this very similar to any software's writing window. You can do lots of things, and you can also move this from here to here. There are lots of options. Okay, and you can make it shorter and longer as usual, as a usual video file. Okay. And one more thing to consider is the sounds. I have to mention that the videos are the video channels are hierarchic. What I mean by this, if you put some video onto another video, it covers all the screen. For example, if I put this video onto that, then we see only the video at the top. I don't see the other video. So, but on the other side, audio files are cumulative or additive. I mean, if you add any sound file, you hear also that. So just think about adding some sound effects, and you have to think about your different sound channels, sound levels with respect to each other. It's important. If the sound of the volume of the music overwhelms the interview, then your audience cannot understand what the interviewer says. It's a problem. So you have to listen and arrange the volume of your videos. For example, you can do that very easily, actually. You see there is a line here. This shows the sound level, and you can just turn off the volume and turn on the volume, you see. And here you see some buttons, and you can move this, and it makes your sound start from 0 to some level. You can start your music, for example, like this. If I do this, let's change the audio. You can, there are lots of options you can use here for your preferences. You can make bigger video files, bigger or smaller audio files. You can change the view. For example, how does it sound? Yes, you see, if I make it like that. Yes. And you can also use this option. For example, our video started like that, and then this is our intro for our video. Let's watch it again. So this is an intro, and we can now start our interview here. Let's go here and take a part. I assume that we edited our interviews and just cut the unnecessary parts. Then, for example, I take this part and import it. You see, it's a little bit big, and yes, this is our interview. I'll delete this and put this together. Now I have the video with the good sound.
The amount of precipitation increase, but the distribution of the precipitation is not even, and it is happening in a abrupt.
For example, you will start with some video, and you want this music fades out and the speech starts at some point. Let's zoom it that way. Here, I already made some fade out. For example, I want this speech starts from here. And this is our music. For example, our music continues like that, and then I don't want this music continue while our speakers start to talk. So I make fade out, and
the amount of precipitation increase, but the distribution.
Or you can just continue using music, but in a very low volume. This is just up to you. But these are the basics. Actually, there are lots of things to talk about. But for a beginning, I think these are enough. If you want to learn more, you can just Google it. How can I do this in Resolve? And you'll see lots of tutorials there. Are there any questions about editing or in general? I think this is the end of what I want to talk about today.
Okay. Thank you, Olcay. You have given us a lot of material. There's one thing. How much time does it take to edit 5-minute video? There's one question from Kathy. She says that how much time does it take to edit 5-minute video approximately? This probably depends on how professional you are, but if you are a beginner, let's say.
Yes, but yeah, sometimes it depends. Actually, it depends on many things. Sometimes a 1-minute video takes weeks for editing.
Oh, don't say this. That's
but it's, yeah, no. If you are a beginner, yes, maybe. But in general, I can say that if you don't want that kind of professional video, then your videos will take only 1 day or 2 days in editing, I think. So it's not a long time to edit. Or if you spend, for example, a year in editing, then it will be shorter, of course.
Okay. So the more you spend time on it, the better you will get, of course.
Yes, I think I think the thing is to learn to enjoy making video. Or if you start to enjoy, then you want to make videos, and then you don't care about the time you spend on it.
Yeah,
it will be kind of a hobby or something like that.
I think you have given us now that it looks like a fun. It's like you're making a puzzle, you know. It's
yes.
Or painting. You paint a video actually by putting the sounds and the videos and playing them and rearranging them. It's kind of a painting actually. Thank you very much. Maybe we could just repeat what will we do next week. It will be more practical, isn't it?
Yes.
And what are you expecting from the attendees to the webinar, Olcay? Maybe if we sort of remind everybody our homeworks and in everything.
I think I have another homework for next week, but I don't know if you can do it. If you don't have materials, maybe you can use your old materials if you have, even if they have vibrations and you don't like it. But in order to exercise, make practice, it's important. Actually, you have to spend some time to learn this. Mm-hmm. It's up to you. But this homework is therefore very useful if you don't have a good video at the end, but it helps you to start this video editing, and you learn from your mistakes most of the time. So it is valid for filming and editing. Okay. You learn from your mistakes. So don't hesitate to start making videos because that you don't have a good camera, good tripod. Just shoot something and make some editing, and you'll see, put some music under and put some text on it. Then you will start enjoying this.
Okay, so but to be able to have a practical hour the next Friday, you want them to be submitted to you on Thursday, maybe at latest, is that?
Yes, at latest.
At latest, so
yeah.
Please, if you haven't filmed anything, please film and do the editing, and if you want, of course, and then share it with me or Olcay together. You could do that. I will share Olcay's email as well, but you can find his email from the mails that I sent to you because I always CC'd him. And at latest Thursday, so you can have a look at them, and then during the practical hour, he may go over and give you the best sort of advice how to improve it. Okay, please don't.
I welcome questions in the email in this week time. I can answer your questions if you have some problems with editing or shooting. You can write me email.
Olcay, do you have some time limitation? Because Celia says that where can we submit the film and how long should it be?
Actually, this is, you see the homework. I actually suggest you this homework will be an intro for your video. You can just choose an outro or any other piece of video, an imaginary video, of course. For example, you have a video project and you think about the details, and you are now at the stage that you are making an intro to your video. So this intro should include, as in the webinar, an interview with speech edited. So jump cuts hidden by your B-roll images. That is related to the speech, of course. It's related to your speech. And it should include also images synchronized with the music as our exercise video. And it should include a text. For example, it could be the name of the speaker or the name of your video or your project. You can start with the text. You can use anywhere you want. And I also suggest you apply a retiming or reframing, not or. You can change the speed of one of your videos and reframe or divide the screens at least once, and use a transition. I think if you make a 1 minute of video like that, it's enough, including this all. But
can they share with you through the email, Olcay?
They can, I think, best upload to YouTube with the unlisted.
Okay, you need to give an address maybe for us. Is that how? I mean, where should it be a specific channel in YouTube?
No, they're their own channels. If you have a Gmail account, you can upload any videos or 1 minute videos to the YouTube, and you can just don't make it public if you don't want people see it, but just make it unlisted. Choose the unlisted option and just send me the link and I can watch.
Okay, great. And you can give us your advice to how to improve it. Okay. And this today's video, we have recorded it. It will be straight away uploaded to the AQUACOSM-plus YouTube channel. Okay. I'll ask Jordanis to do this. Yeah. And then you can have a help by rewatching the video also. Okay. To prepare the homework. I think that's all. We are already late. 20 past. Wow. We need longer time than we sort of plan all the time. Thank you, Olcay. It was great. And there are some audience, Catherine and Agnes, they're all saying thank you. And practice will make us better.
Yep.
Okay, then. Bye-bye. So we'll see each of you next week and with some productions. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.